from the Guam Daily Post. Up next, we'll talk to some folks from the Guam Regional Medical City on Bill 30-35. Right now, iConnect time is 8:36. Swing by there or call them at 888-8888 and find out about all the great plans for 2019. Push to talk. They're the only guys that got it. Learn more at iConnectGuam.com. I need you to go eat it at Wendy's, because I haven't had a chance to try it. I've had everything else. They've got the barbecue burger. I've tried. I've obviously tried the sauce and sauce burger. I get that just because I'm in the drive-thru. I'm going to get one anyway. But I have not yet had a chance to try this. It's a peppercorn mushroom sandwich. Obviously, they make this with mushrooms in it, loads and loads of it, and a special kind of aioli sauce that goes in there. And they tell me it's really good, and it must be good because every time I've hit the drive-thru to get it, they're sold out. So save me one fen the next time you're over at Wendy's. And if you can, absolutely try it and give me a review here on the radio. Try it. It's on the Made to Crave menu at Wendy's.
The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts of Guam Training every morning on The Ray Gibson Show.
Hi, I'm Jerry Roberts, and every day I get to comment on the incredibly diverse, fun, challenging, sometimes frustrating, often exciting, but always interesting world of work. I hope you'll be there with us.
You can find daily transcripts of The Extra Point at GuamTraining.com. Tune in every weekday morning at 7:20 for The Extra Point with Jerry Roberts. Brought to you by Guahan Insurance Services and First Hawaiian Bank on 93.3 The Point.
All right, time to take a quick look at the traffic gizmo. I might actually do a real-time one with Francis Santos in the studio right now. How was traffic on the way in? Was it all right?
I was coming from Agana Heights. It was fine.
There you go. I said, if you're moving in the opposite direction of traffic, you should be okay.
Yeah.
But almost 20 away from 9 o'clock in the morning, looking at traffic in and around the Machechia Road area. Watch out for some slowdown there. 8, 10, and 16. Looking all right now. It's the intersection of 1 and 3 that is busying up. It's amazing, you know, with as much construction as they put over there for Guam Regional Medical City, the area that we're going to lay down the cantonment area for the base. Even before lots and lots of that stuff has started, it's already busy at that intersection. Everybody taking advantage of that new Federal roadway that they built us, right?
It's good money. Never turn down free money.
8:39. I don't need to take this break. Can we save this one for later, and I'll just keep going with these guys because they're in a hurry to tell me why take care is wrong. I'm just playing around here.
I take care is wrong.
You
said that. I did.
How to frame all of this in the conversation because you know there's it is an interesting debate that is going on now at the legislature on this 30-34, and it's kind of a longish life that it has had where there has been attempts to kind of force the hand and say, look, if you want to do business with the government of Guam, you have to include treatment at Guam Regional Medical City. And there's all kinds of arguments why that doesn't work. So I got a couple of guys from Guam Regional Medical City in here I don't know, we'll go over some of the points that have been brought up. Obviously, one of them is Francis Santos. Good morning, Francie.
Good morning, half a day.
You know, it's always nice to see you. He said, might be able to do this on the phone, but I think I want to be able to actually be there in the studio and see your face.
That's what I said. You know, let's do this mano a mano,
because you never
face
know
to
when
face.
I might go into that cussy mode.
Well, no, you know, I said, hey, by the way, you know, as is the Dueñas tradition, you're supposed to serve me.
Yeah, it's senior privilege, so
that's right.
Francie will get to say that.
That's right.
The other guy in the studio is Eric Plinske. He's not necessarily a Father Dueñas graduate.
Everybody wishes they went
but my son tells me he was 9 years old that he's going to Father Dueñas. I have no idea how. I think Francis here planted a seed.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, they got an outstanding football team. Can I just say, I mean, even alumni that don't have kids are showing up at the games because they're so good.
The brotherhood.
Yes.
Yeah, as our good friend PJ would call us, the cult.
The cult. Some referred to as the Dueñas Mafia.
You know what? I'll leave that to you. The class of '79 and '80.
We'll see if that earns you any quarter here in the conversation. Why is the 30-34 important? Why is that important to the employees and the retirees?
Then the retirees. So let's get right down to that. So here's the math. there's approximately 31,000 Gov Guam employees, dependents, retirees, members, and the health plan. And if you take the math and you take our good friend Frank Campillo has roughly 84% of that, so the math works out to be about 26,000 members that can't, currently enjoy GRMC, and the rest belong to Take Care and what was Netcare. So, if the choice of the government is to disenfranchise 26,000 employees and their families, so be it. But we're here to say don't do that because there's so much harm that's going to be done. You're talking about services that are available at GRMC, which are state-of-the-art. We are the heart hospital. Right. We are the stroke hospital. I mean, we have it all, Ray.
Well, I know. And Dr. Conception's got that.
Right.
By the way, that's where she works. I think she works the nurse I was talking about. I think she's a cardiac nurse.
Well, good for you. She can take care of you. But again, Ray,
I don't think there's anybody can take care of me. But go.
Yeah,
but
but that's the issue, And I think at the end of the day, we're just trying to, First of all, let's.
Well, you're not. It's not like you've got somebody standing at the door and saying, "No Gov Guam employees, retirees." Well, it's not like they can't come in.
What? Okay. Yes, they can come in. The issue we're having with Take Care members is that the bill's not getting paid, the service is being rendered, and if you're a Take Care member, good for you. But you're paying these premiums and they're not paying your bill, and they've made it so hard for a Take Care member to get their bills paid by your insurance company because the restrictions on an out-of-network are, the nice definitions that Eric and I come from the insurance industry. We wrote the rule, eligible charge is a nice word. Out-of-network is a nice word. But at the end of the day, when the service is needed, and they don't cover your bill, you're going to end up paying the bill. And that's what we're facing today.
I do not have with me, and to get into a debate, I don't have with me anybody online from that or via phone from Take Care. I don't have.
Well, Joe Hustline's not even on Guam. We were down at the legislature yesterday. I said, "Where's the big boss? Big boss not here." I mean, if he calls Guam his home, Ray, stay.
I don't know that that's germane to the conversation.
Well, it is, because why are you fighting so hard to say you don't want us in your network when Guam is not your home?
Well, you could talk to Karabrock down there. Can't you talk to Greg? Why can't you guys get to...
Who?
I'm just asking. So the question is why is there such an impasse?
Ask Joe Hustline. Ask Joe Hustline.
Then I'll find him. I'll ask him.
Well, I'll give you his phone number. I've gone personally. As early as...
So what's the gap?
Ask him. Joe, when do you want to meet? Oh, yeah, Francis. Real good. We'll get to it, man. We'll get to it. How's it going? Nothing.
Well, is it possible? I mean, because you take a look, and the last time there was open enrollment, there was actual ads from GRMC that were telling people specifically not to sign up on Take Care. You suppose maybe that might have contributed to their lack of willingness to come to the table?
No, Ray, this goes on every year. The only time that, and this is always initiated by GRMC, Francis and I together, and sometimes him by himself, sometimes me by myself, have gone to Take Care to try and negotiate since we opened. This is like 4 years. It's like Groundhog Day every year. When open enrollment comes for a lot of the, the Fed market, they'll allow us to maybe go down there and have a little chat. Yeah. Because then that allows them to possibly tell their members we're talking, and it gives us perception that maybe there's going to be a deal. But by the end of open enrollment, that's the last we hear from them, because by then they got the people locked in for another year. So that would be typical. But Francis just recently, I think, called and even, did you meet? I think you had a meeting, but that led to nowhere. There's been no response. So he's never come to our hospital that I'm aware of in any official capacity. I don't even know if he knows what we have. Because he's never been there. So there's no interest, it appears, from him. And he's also saying that if this bid goes through without requiring GRMC, that Take Care would be squeezed out.
That's right.
Why is that? We're open to set a deal right now. He could come, we could work something out. This thing would be irrelevant. That must mean he has no interest no matter what in dealing with GRMC because the ball's in his court.
Right. So I can't speak to that. He's not online right now. I don't see Greg online. And I do see Tom Shea, who is there, and Tom has already taken a position that he doesn't like 30-34. And
30-35. I think you're
sorry, 30-35. But let me go back a little bit of history here, because this is not the first time it's come up. There was a piece of legislation, I believe, introduced by Senator B.J. Cruz in the 34th Speaker B.J. Cruz in the 34th Guam legislature. And that never even made it out of committee. We were taking a look at that, and then there was an attempt, oddly, by the same Department of Administration in testimony on Bill 21-34 that they didn't like it, but then the Department of Administration came out with an RFP that suggested that Take Care must include GRMC in their product mix, and that went through the process and was thrown out. Right?
No, it wasn't thrown out. They all seeked an agreement. Therefore, it was not. It didn't.
It was irrelevant because it passed the deadline.
Right. But so we went back to whatever plans were in place the year prior, correct?
Minus Netcare.
Right. So, and minus Netcare, because they just bailed completely because they weren't getting paid by anybody, apparently. And then we fast forward to where we are here. That bill has now been introduced in the legislature. Is this third time going to be the charm?
Let's read real quick. What happened with 21-34, which was Speaker Cruz's bill, nothing happened with it because it was a companion bill to 3-34, which at the time was passed by the legislature but got vetoed by the governor. That was the one to make it an exclusive bid. So when 3-34 got vetoed by the governor, the legislature and Speaker Cruz just said, well, we don't need to do anything with 21-34. It's the main bill has been defeated. They didn't have enough to override. So that sat for over a year. But then about a year later, when the budget issues came up, the legislature found enough votes, overrode the governor's veto, and it became law. It's just 21-34 just sat, and never really got reintroduced. Now Speaker Barnes tweaked it to only focus on GovGuam employees and retirees. That's how the big change, and reintroduced it in a new format.
All right, and so they're talking about it over at the legislature. It looks like it has gone on stall now over at the legislature because they can't answer the question on how much this is going to cost the taxpayers. Anybody want to react to that question?
Well, we're not sure where Joe Husline gets his numbers from. It looks like a lot of it could be right out of thin air, but he has no idea what our real rates are because we never sat down long enough to get them. But if you want to use something of relevance, the OPA, Office of Public Auditor, did an audit of the health plans from years 2014 to 2017, and what they found, what they reveal in the report, it was a study of really the overall contracts, but it reveals what the government paid for premiums, and it compared to, what the subscribers were paying. It lists for 4 years, and that way you can deduce, what were the costs, to government of Guam and the actual subscribers themselves over 4 years. We then got some DOA information, general total paid, premiums for 2018 and 2019 projected, and you can get real numbers as to what was the impact, and that. When we translate those numbers into a graph, that's
you'll need to do that for the listeners. And,
we found out when GRMC came into the market in 2016, premiums overall to the government and the subscribers only went up 13%. Not the hyperinflated rate that Mr. Husline is claiming would happen if he had to put his only 16% of the GovGuam market into the GRMC and network. Then after that, premiums only went up about 2.6% per year. So there's really been minimal impact on premiums for GovGuam, knowing that 84% already have us in network.
And we'll loop from there into a couple of things. Tom Shea, as I said, is online, and he says, ask Eric, where is the guarantee that the mandate by law will lower health care premiums by 10%?
It's not. There is no guarantee. We're using just general economics for health plans. As Francis mentioned, both he and I come from the health plans. When you do a exclusive bid, that's where it's based on the presumption that GRMC would be a network for the remaining 16% of the GovGuam book of business. And then you do an exclusive award. When you have an exclusive bid over non-exclusive, what non-exclusives where we're at now and have been for several years, you have more economies of scale. You spread the risk across the larger population,
pie, and then
you're going to get a
to bring things down.
If you look at prior year non-exclusive to exclusive bids, we don't know what those numbers are, but we'll pretty much guarantee you they're between 5 to 15% cheaper in an exclusive bid than in a non-exclusive. So we'll take about an average of 10% and say you're going to probably see a 10% reduction in what you've been seeing because you're going to an exclusive award.
Now, does that presume that there are going to be differences in the rates that GRMC is going to be charging across this larger body of insured?
No, it's based on the negotiated rates that we've done with the other 3 health plans, Stable, NetCare, and SelectCare, and we've been willing to offer to take care all along. And as an example of that, this is something that should be, the members of the public, particularly GovGuam employees, should be aware of, because when you are in network, you have negotiated rates, and then you're only exposed to your out-of-pocket copay coinsurance. Obviously, you have a deductible if you're GovGuam first, but if you've met your deductible, an example, if you come to see one of our specialists, many of which are the only ones on Guam for certain care categories, you'd have a $40 payment for your out-of-pocket to GRMC.
What if I have not met my deductible?
It's going to be, and you're cheating because you got the numbers in front. About $1,493. Am I hitting that right?
$1,413 for out-of-network. So, but if I have not met my so if I've met my deductible, my average in-network patient cost is $40.
Yep.
If I have not met my deductible,
no, if you're out-of-network.
No, okay, but
you got to meet your deductible first.
Oh yeah, right.
So if I do not meet my deductible, what is the in-network patient cost?
I'm not, that's based on the negotiated rate, but you're going to probably have to pay
is it
about
$80
$100. No,
is it $1,000?
Yeah, it's about, it's probably in the $100-some range. So if you're not met your deductible, then you're going to be paying your fixed copay.
All right, and out-of-network patient cost is going to be upwards of $1,400. Emergency room visits, $1,900. And again, this is out-of-network patient costs that are going to be borne by a government of Guam employee or retiree if they're not included in the packages. Correct. All right, so let me go over a couple of points here. We've got time. I don't think I've got anybody at 9, so you guys can stick around too. And there's somebody that's online who says, I don't understand this. This does not affect non-government of Guam employees and retirees. Why is this an issue? The reason why it's an issue here, and this is something that Ken LG and I were going over, and I've gone over many times when we have these conversations about health insurance and open enrollment and things like that. Francie will remember the conversation. There is nobody that is an ombudsman. There is nobody that is advocating for the taxpayer.
Correct.
This is vitally important because depending on the decisions that are made over at the legislature, there could be increases in premiums. GRMC doesn't believe that there will be increases.
For Take Care members, there will. 16% of GovGuam.
For those individuals, but there shouldn't be for everybody else. They don't believe that it's going to be as high as it is, but there is still going to be an increase that is going to fall on the backs, I guarantee it, of the taxpayers because we're the only ones that are excluded from the conversation. So this is the point where you got to get into it, and so when it is time for open enrollment, regardless of what happens over at the legislature, somebody can be lucid on the conversation and bring to them the points that you guys can do whatever you want to with GovGuam employees and retirees, but it should not impact how much I'm paying as a taxpayer.
Therefore, you're saying transfer it to the employees.
Yeah.
Who has to pay all the bills when those folks have the catastrophic care they need and they're brought to GRMC?
Well,
is that stick it to the patient?
That is, well, I mean, what happens now at Guam Memorial Hospital?
Yeah.
No, when they're in network,
they just don't collect. They don't collect $20 million.
Right. So GRMC should just basically pay for Take Care's members. They pay a premium to Take Care, and when they have catastrophic needs, GRMC should foot that bill.
But there is a buy-up option. The buy-up option that they're talking about now.
That's a terrible idea. That's basically gives a health plan a total scapegoat to high-price the high option, so they drive everyone to the low option, and then can claim ignorance or plausible deniability. Oh, that wasn't the health plan who did that this time. It was the patient.
I didn't make that decision. GovGuam negotiators did.
Yeah. They might have made that decision.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But it is part of the conversation. Is it not done though? I mean, I was told about the Guam Contractors Association.
Ask how many are on the high op.
Right.
We don't know.
I don't know either. But I'm
why
told
did they get that plan?
Isn't it?
But why did they buy that plan when there's other options out there?
Because they wanted to be able to give their members the opportunity to get into a health insurance program. Number one,
correct.
And if it involved Guam Regional Medical City, they could still get in there. And my understanding is that the plan would cover up to what the reimbursement would be if it was GMH.
We have not seen that contract. Oh, that's the nice word to say about up to GMH. So
yeah.
So
up to what
GMH,
that's the eligible charge classic exam.
Yeah.
So no matter what it costs, they're only going to reimburse up to a GMH rate.
And I'm loving the conversation. I hope you guys are getting some points in here as well. But there's the idea that if this thing were to go, the only folks that it would have an impact on are people that are under the Take Care plan. Those premiums would rise in order to meet the whatever the rates are going to be that you charge back to them. Understand? So I see that, and you're saying that it's not going to have an impact on the other insurance companies
they're already in network.
They already have prices in their premiums.
Well,
already.
How long are those premiums good for? Do you not renegotiate with them at some point? And would you not try to find some kind of parity between what you're charging?
I think you got an email from Frank.
No,
we basically we agree to annual increases in the contracts too. So that's where they can actually cap that too.
They can,
and that's a negotiation process between GRMC and Frank Campillo and Jerry Crisosimo and Netcare and Anthony Mangiola at Staywell. I mean, come on in, guys. We've done it before.
But
we know we can't.
I suppose the point is that you guys, the GRMC's claims are that this will only have an impact near term with Take Care.
Correct.
But I'm looking at it saying, all right, now that there is a mandate, and this is a point that has been made over and over. Now that there is a legal mandate as prescribed by the legislature and perhaps signed by the lady that you helped get to Adelup, it is possible that this might be mandated, and all of a sudden GRMC has no what's the word? There's no impetus to maintain the status quo. So we go into renegotiations with everybody, and you say, well, you have to do business with me, and you have to do this business at these rates.
Right. GRMC, I don't know, I'll just speak frankly. GRMC is not dumb enough to go and do, if the government, works to cover the people, to protect them, GRMC is there to protect them and give them the service. We are not dumb enough to go try and play a heavy-handed game to jack up our rates in a market. The legislature could, in 24 hours, would come back and put the hammer down on us, and the public would basically run us out of town if we tried to pull a tactic like that. It's common sense. We would never do something like that. We will work with all our health plan partners.
I've known you all of my life, Eric and I. We've been buddies for the last couple of years and everything, but you guys might not always be there. And we're also not talking about the same board in the Philippines as we had been talking about before.
The good news for the people of Guam, Ramon, is now you have Dr. Mike Cruz and Francis Santos as your leaders for GRMC. And we have a board that's working with us as we speak. And you don't, how did a foreign company allow two of Guam's leaders to lead their company? They have the confidence in Dr. Mike and myself and our team to lead this hospital forward. We're not gonna jeopardize what Dr. Mike and our team have put forward. We need this hospital to survive, Ramon. I've been a product of GMH. My mother practically lived there.
Yeah.
So we need both hospitals to survive.
And I'm not disagreeing with that point. I'm just saying that things could change down the road.
Sure.
The board might not always have the confidence. Well, you've got broken service with GRMC, don't you?
Absolutely. But it's an interesting one because I really never left.
Didn't feel like it, but it was.
The honest truth, I was there as a consultant to Dr. Mike Cruz and Margaret Bengzong all this time. And again, the board had all the confidence in the world to put Dr. Mike Cruz and his team to lead this hospital for the people of Guam.
You can't hear it, but I can. I got the music playing in the background, and that means we got a breakaway for I got some news coming up in a couple of minutes. So we'll take care of the Fox News Live, and then we'll come back and we'll take a look at some of the other concerns that have been brought up with 30-35 up to and including. My God, this is going to siphon every penny out of the Guam Memorial Hospital, so we'll let them address that and take a look at what you're writing about on Facebook Live. You want to join the conversation? I've got headphones in the studio. You can call in 888-8255 is the phone number. Radio station is KUSG Hagana. I'm Ray. That's Francie. That's Eric, and we'll all be right back after Fox News.
Asking for help. I'm Lisa Lacera, Fox News. A push in Washington to make sure the fund for victims of 9/11 doesn't run out. Fox's Jared Halpern has more live on Capitol Hill.
The September 11th Victims Compensation Fund will expire without congressional action next year. Already payouts have been cut drastically as the need for health care for 9/11 first responders and survivors grows.
People are suffering. People are dying. And we cannot cannot and will not turn our backs on these men and women.
New York Democrat Kirsten Gillibrand and a coalition of lawmakers, Republicans and Democrats from New York and elsewhere, introduced legislation that would permanently authorize funding. Comedian Jon Stewart joined dozens of 9/11 first responders to lobby support on Capitol Hill. Lisa.
Jared, President Trump now on his way to Vietnam for another round of talks with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un.
The talks will focus around the so-called 4 pillars that the president is pursuing with North Korea. That includes establishment of new relations, a lasting and stable peace, complete denuclearization of the Korean Peninsula, and recovering POW MIA remains. The president says he is not in a rush to push Kim Jong-un to dismantle his nuclear program, but there is a concern within the White House, the State Department, the Department of Defense, the Treasury Department, and Energy that the special envoy to North Korea, Stephen Biegun, has been willing to offer North Korea too much in terms of incentives to begin taking apart its nuclear program.
Fox's John Roberts in Hanoi. While on board Air Force One, the president tweeted that American Danny Birch has been freed after being held for 18 months in Yemen in what the State Department suggested was a rescue operation. Birch is married to a Yemeni woman. He was kidnapped by the rebels in 2017. On Wall Street, the Dow gained 60 points. The Nasdaq added 26. The S&P rose 3 points. This is Fox News.
At Chili's, our burgers stack up with anyone's. Handcrafted to order, smashed to lock in flavor on a toasted brioche bun. Our burgers are all kinds of perfect. Choose from the Chili's Chili, the Mushroom Swiss, the Ultimate Bacon, or you know what? We dare you to take on the Boss Burger. Loaded with smoked brisket, rib meat, jalapeno cheddar sausage, and bacon. We may have really out-burgered ourselves. Our burgers are more than a handful, served with garlic, dill pickles, and fries. So hurry in today and enjoy our juicy, melty, yummy, handcrafted creations. Perfection between 2 buns. Chili's, more life happens here.
Make the good things last longer. Get 3 more days for free on our 3-day prepaid rate plan. That's 6 days of unlimited local calls, SMS, and 1 gig of 4G LTE data per day for just $7.95. Text HS3 to 3282 from your Docomo Pacific prepaid phone to sign up today. Docomo Pacific, better together. Some conditions apply.
Honest opinion.
A Texas judge rules the military draft is unconstitutional. Fox's Gernal Scott explains why live.
Lisa, Texas District Judge Gray Miller indicated he wanted his ruling to spark a discussion on the place of women in the armed services. Now, a complaint had been filed by a men's rights group concerned that the male-only draft was discriminatory. Historically, the draft came to an end when the military became a volunteer fighting force in the early 70s, but men 18 to 25 still must register for selective service today. The Justice Department has not commented on that ruling, Lisa.
Gernal, the Supreme Court has ruled federal courts can't count the vote of a judge who has died before a decision is issued. The case involved a Ninth Circuit Court judge who died last March, but was listed as the author of a decision issued 11 days after he died. R&B singer R. Kelly has now posted bail after a court appearance today.
R. Kelly pleaded not guilty to sex crimes. The R&B singer was charged with 10 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse involving 4 accusers, 3 of whom prosecutors said were underage between 1998 and 2010. According to TMZ, attorney Michael Avenatti will turn over a second tape, this one a 55-minute VHS video. The lawyer, who is most famous for representing adult film actress Stormy Daniels, was involved in a 10-month sting operation that involved a sex tape that Avenatti said was handed to him back in April of 2018. Details of the allegations against the R&B singer emerged Saturday after prosecutors released 4 detailed documents, 1 for each accuser, outlining the basis for the charges. Michelle Polino, Fox News.
Ariana Grande returning to Manchester, England after a terror attack 2 years ago at one of her concerts. Organizers say Grande will be a headliner at the Manchester Pride Live event August 25th. On May 22nd, 2017, a bomber blew himself up at a Manchester arena. As fans were leaving her show, 22 people were killed. I'm Lisa Lacera. This is Fox News.
Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. Half a day. I'm Rita Tidegui of Manila, and this is where I start my day, listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Ingatan ang iyong tahanan. Protect your home. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
Portions of the program here brought to you by my friends over at King's, where they've got the crazy menu. In fact, the King's, incidentally, is the place for negotiation. So if you'd like to get together with Francie and Eric, they're gonna have you buy them breakfast over at King's. Item on the breakfast menu. I'm thinking that Eric is gonna go for the ribeye and eggs, a tender grilled 14-ounce choice ribeye steak, cooked the way he likes it, served with 2 eggs the way he wants them, and hash browns on the side. And Francie's watching his girlish figure, egg white chicken omelet, I think, is what he'd be going for there. Healthy. Yeah. That's what they were selling a whole lot of, apparently.
I'm
during
at the Typhoon, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a pot roast and kadun manok and kare and corned beef and cabbage. So if you're in the mood for some soupy and stuff like that, King's Restaurant, would you?
Great news from Exchanged, Guam's #1 online and mobile remittance service to the Philippines. Get a chance to win a trip for 2 to Manila with 3 days and 2 nights accommodations at the Belmont Hotel at Resorts World Manila. Here's how to join. Download the Exchanged app or visit exchange.me. Sign up and send money to the Philippines. You can also visit the Exchanged office inside the iConnect building in Upper Tumon. Promo ends May 2nd, 2019. Call 888-736-3 for more information. Conditions apply. Take advantage of Exchange Dollar to Remit promo. Visit exchange.me for details.
It's 6 after 9 o'clock in the morning. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show, the Tuesday version, brought to you by my pals over at Guam Regional Medical City, the first choice for all of your specialty health care needs. Also got the guys over at APL, American President Lines of Shipping the Future, and Micronesia Renewable Energy. You know, there's never been a better time to go solar.
Rediscover talk radio here. It's the Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
7 after 9, 888-825-5888-TALK. You can chime in on Facebook Live, but note that my eyes aren't going in that direction. So if you want to make a critical comment on Facebook Live, it might take me a second to get to it because I like to keep my eye on my guests. And with me in the studio from Guam Regional Medical City is Eric Plinske. It's good to have you in the studio again.
Thanks, Ray. Nice to see you.
Come we always talk about this when you're here?
I wish we could put this behind us.
But it's nice. Charlie comes over with the docs, and that's always nice. And Carla Haddock was sitting in that chair just the other day.
Oh, nice.
Talking about the heart attack prevention program that you guys are working on, and I think they're fantastic deals that you've got there. And you know what? There's so many other things. You know what? You should probably make an offer. And you're sitting in a chair that Natalia was sitting in from Toastmasters. You guys got classrooms at GRMC. And big meeting areas. They're looking for some place like that where they can have their meetings.
I'll make a better offer. You know, maybe I'm going to get my the CCU/GPA/GW.
Mm-hmm.
We have a wonderful facility, and we have a lot of rooms. I mean, we
really
bar none. Our conference room is, our conference room is in the shape of Slingstone.
Oh, I had no idea.
You've never been there?
No, I've never been there.
Watch us tonight live.
Yeah.
Just so you know, all our work sessions and our board meetings are carried live. So we have a wonderful facility that has multiple rooms, training rooms, conference rooms.
So like regular old people can, like the Toastmasters can come and have a meeting.
I've always told them that this is a public building. We make it work for them.
Okay. Wow. See, you're bringing up a point here about the CCU that I really, really wanted to go over with Joey.
No, you talk to Joey and Simon.
I know. You're going to talk to Joey about it.
I'll defer to the...
But it's a good one. It has to do with the demand side management and where the money is going to be coming from.
No.
You're taking my incentive money out of my good pocket here.
Yeah,
No.
that's yeah. Well, that's me, huh?
No,
I'm one of
there's
5.
Other guys under commission. Anyway, 10 after
Yeah.
9 o'clock in the morning. So what we're talking about here is they're referring to it as the GRMC bill. I've seen that referred to as the GRMC bill over at the legislature. It's 30-35. And again, for those of you that are listening, going, okay, why does this have anything to do with me? I'm not a government of Guam employee. I'm not a government of Guam retiree. I want to say that the audit paperwork that I just handed back to you, Eric, would show the data on how much of the employees and retirees' premiums are actually paid by the taxpayers. You know, what is it that the government of Guam employees? How much? What am I in the holding for?
70? Almost.
Well, you know, the details basically were showing how much GovGuam pays towards premiums versus the subscriber at GovGuam, and it was 79% GovGuam picks up compared to 21% that the subscriber picks up.
When he said GovGuam, when the words GovGuam came out of Eric's mouth, he was talking about you and I, taxpayers.
That's right.
So if it's $470 million, is that what it was over 4 years? Was that that number? So whatever 80% of $470 million is what the taxpayers are holding the bag for.
Right.
So this is as much of an issue as Simon Sanchez High School and the roads and all of that. This is a taxpayer issue.
The way I've always pegged this is really it's the single largest contract in GovGuam, other than the fuel contract at GPA. I mean, it's projected to be $93 million. One single contract,
and maybe 80% of that is going to come from the taxpayers. So as I said, this is a taxpayer issue like every other one.
But you're forgetting. I mean, remember, 84% of it's already been priced and is already taken care of. So you're talking about 16% of people of the GovGuam population.
I'm very general terms. I hadn't even started in my mind. I had not linked that up with the measure yet that they're talking about over at the legislature and what the potential costs are going to be. That's something that they've left to BBMR, and BBMR has come out with two opinions, neither one of which give the people over at the legislature any clue as to where this thing is going to go in terms of additional costs. And you say the additional costs are only going to be the ones that would be borne by Take Care.
Right, and the numbers show that when we came in the market, it was 13% was the increase that that impacted GovGuam health insurance, 13%. So that would be a fair estimate you could use from historical numbers, right from the government.
Okay, so there are at least some numbers that we can hang our hat on and begin to do some of the calculations on. Those are dollars that would be flowing from the government of Guam employees, retaillees, their paychecks, whatever comes from the taxpayer contributions into Guam Regional Medical City.
For the 16%, right?
And which leaves the question hanging out, which has been asked, is what's going to happen to Guam Memorial Hospital? What will happen to GMH? Arguably, if you've got universal coverage for that includes Guam Regional Medical City, all of a sudden the concern is that all of the care requests are going to be presented at GRMC and not necessarily.
Think about how crazy what you're saying is. Only 16% of GovGuam don't have the access.
I'm repeating what I read.
They only have 16% that don't have 84% already have that access. So are you saying that only if 16% of GovGuam's population suddenly have access to GRMC, GMH is going to fall apart when 84% already do have that access?
Well, I think the 84% that have that access aren't using it. I think they're all going to your place. How many?
No, that is absolutely not true.
Did GMH go out of? Did GMH go out of business?
Yeah, no.
GMH should be going out of business. They claim to be $30 million out all the time. Talk to the vendors.
But that was the same before we existed, wasn't it?
Also true.
Yeah. So where's this big exodus? Because before we existed, they had the same problem as they do right now, and now 84% of GovGuam employees, subscribers, retirees all have access to GRMC. So if that theory was correct, GMH should have been dead already, according to what Take Care is saying. Only 16% don't have the
So
access.
it should not make all that much of a difference to what happened to the operations at GMH.
But there is one scenario that could develop is if Take Care, for example, was to win the exclusive bid and be GRMC's not in network, then you have a situation that GMH should have a big concern of. Now you have 31,000 members, including the 16% that should all be going to your facility and nowhere else. And then start talking about the other medical providers that are not part of the famous Take Care network that supposedly has everybody in the world.
Well, let's
So,
see.
you know, I mean, yeah.
The numbers that are absent in this conversation are the numbers of expatriated Chamorros that now are in facilities in Hawaii, California, and the Philippines, because arguably their care is going to be cheaper there than at GMH and at GRMC.
In the mainland?
I'm just saying there's another part of the population that we have not discussed in terms of where your customer mix is going. Some are going to GRMC, some are going to Guam Memorial Hospital, some of them are going to St. Luke's and Medical City in the Philippines.
But again, is that the model that the people of Guam want? I don't think so. The people of Guam, you know, through its leaders, you know, basically said, we want GRMC, we want this private hospital to be built on Guam. So here we are today. I mean, we still get the proponents of the QC. You know, yes, the decision was made to grant the QC, but that's like every other investment on Guam. You decide if there wants to be, you know, the leaders decide, is there a tax benefit that we should give these investors?
Well, the answer is yes, and even if Gita did not have a qualifying certificate, it seems to me that there are other facilities that you can get private activity bonds for.
Yeah, again, Ray, that the issue going back and still the argument, well, they got a QC. That's fine. But the benefit that we're giving to the people of Guam is, you know, we take Medicaid and MIP. We don't turn them away. You know, we're dealing with very high indigent population in the most populous part of our island.
I'm told that you have many of the migrant population and indigents that will show up at your emergency room. 9:16 in the morning, 888-8255-888-TALK. I'm going to ask the guest to put the headphones on while I jaw jack for a second with the other Governor Leon Guerrero. That's Ken Leon Guerrero. Good morning, Ken.
Good morning.
Half a day, and always nice to see you. And so what will you be bringing to this conversation, sir?
Well, I think we badly needed GRMC, and I'm glad that they're here. I think what it does is it puts pressure on government of Guam to finally start managing Guam Memorial Hospital like a real hospital instead of a political pork barrel that we've seen for the past 30 years. Look at Home Depot. I don't know if you remember, but if you went to Benson's before Home Depot opened, how bad the experience was from a customer point of view. If you had to go to the bathrooms there, you had to literally walk through the warehouse, and then you went into an open, exposed toilet that was exposed to a parking lot that was full all the time because the plumbing wouldn't flush. And now look at Benson's now. So I think Guam Memorial Hospital is going to force a big paradigm shift on Guam Memorial, and what we're looking at here is semantics. You know, this whole battle, I mean, you look at the bill, it's 2 paragraphs.
Agree. I thought there would probably need to be more in the conversation other than just kind of forcing the hand on one business on Guam to be forced to do business with another business on Guam.
Well, I agree with that too, but I think what we need to do is we need to look at the fact that Guam Memorial Hospital is still not operating as a hospital as much as it's operating as a reward system.
Well,
this size in the mainland would have about 500 to 600 employees. We have 900. And a hospital in the mainland, even a government hospital, and I know because I went to government hospitals, they made sure they had their payment program in place before you left.
They don't do that at Guam Memorial Hospital. Ken, I need you to look at the audit that just came out of BJ's place. They've just conducted one on billing and collections of true self-pay accounts at Guam Memorial Hospital, and it's outrageous. It's shocking. The fact that they billed $22 million from January of 2017 to June of 2018. In that short amount of time, $22 million worth of billing went out, for which they were only able to collect $2.3 million, which is just ridiculous. They're not following their own standard SOPs. They're not following any of the rules and regs that they've stood up. Their collection staff are doing everything except collections. I don't know that they've ever actually sent anything to their collection agent, and just now starting to work with the Attorney General's office. I think that is particularly damning. I don't know that it has much to do with our conversation with Eric and Francis.
It does in a way, and you highlighted the fact right there. Guam Memorial Hospital is not running like a hospital. Guam Regional Medical Center is. And now that we have a contrast point, looking at the staffing and the operations at Guam Memorial Hospital compared to the staffing and operations at Guam Regional Medical Center against staffing and operational on community hospital norms in the mainland. We see that Guam Memorial still has a long way to go, and we have two other problems that affect Guam Memorial. One, businesses are able to employ people without giving them benefits, so they shift the health care burden onto taxpayers. That's why we had 17,000 visits in 2016 to Guam Memorial's emergency room. Think about that. 1 out of 10 people in Guam Memorial in Guam use the hospital as their
clinic,
general practitioner.
Yeah, and we tried to break the people of that habit for a long time, and clearly that has not worked. Ken, I'm going to let you run. I do have a couple other questions for these guys before they take off.
Okay, I hope that this topic gets as much attention as the pay raises did.
Clearly, it's got some people talking. So far, it's been pretty good for front page, not front page, but double truck ads in the newspapers, and certainly a lot of editorial contributions that have been made. I think Dr. Felix Cabrera sent over a couple of not press releases, but letters to the editor. You can find them in Guam Daily Post as well as today's Guam Daily Post and the Daily News. All right, 9:21 in the morning, and I just want to go back on this point here. Is right now the risk of increased premiums only falls on Take Care subscribers.
That's correct.
Okay, and then anything that we have negotiated with the other health care plans, Select Cares and your Stay Wells and Net Cares and all of that will remain the same until when? Is there? You mentioned there's other negotiations.
Yeah, we sign multi-year contracts with them, and we build in all of these kind of precautions. We can do annual rate increase caps. Those are all, and they all have to be similar because we know you can't go to one plan and try to jack the rate on that. The people in Guam all have certain income levels. We know that the Affordable Care Act doesn't apply the same way in the U.S. territories as does the mainland. So we work with the plans to focus on increasing rates according to a reasonable amount that can be relayed, because we know it has to be relayed on to the community through the health plans. And we come from the health plans. Yeah. We know this stuff. So that's the reality. If there was a huge problem, then Select Care, Net Care, and Stay Well would have never signed with us or would have gotten rid of us a long time ago. That should say something, wouldn't you think?
Are their rates identical between the
They're not exactly identical because we sit and negotiate, right? But they always are aligned basically similar. So it might be some few dollars off here and there, but it is made to be so that there's no real huge advantage one over the other. And Take Care, we've offered this, and we've offered it in many forms, in fee-for-service discount rates, per diem rates, case. We were willing to open discussions in any way they wanted to talk, but they just never carry forward with that. We can't. We keep going to them. They never come to us.
It's safe to say that I initiated the last meeting at the request of Dr. Mike, and I said sure. So the ball is clearly in Joe Husline's court because he single-handedly is going to make this decision.
If he's not here, which you pointed out, if he's not here or if he's not interested in going to the table, then there's nothing to be done about it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I think the Take Care community needs to know that this is a one-man company. Let it be known. You have employees here. That's good. But Joe Husline, we were close 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And we almost reached the contract was ready to go. Joe Husline comes to Guam and done.
It's important. Yeah, Jeff Larson and Alicia Zaki, we worked with Francis.
Matt Clavel.
Nearly, Matt was it was 8 months to almost a year. Negotiate. We were so close. You could ask Jeff Larson. He's probably not allowed to say this. He told me yesterday, this with his finger. We were this close, Eric. I said, I know, Jeff. But what happened? Joe Husline reorganized the company and moved Jeff out, and all the negotiations they all did with us got thrown.
Somebody else
basically disappeared.
No, it disappeared. Come on, that's the honest truth. And hey, Joe, come back and let's talk.
Well, it may come to it as a result of action that is taken over at the legislature. At this point now, it's purely administrative, and they're talking about it at the legislature. I don't know that in 24 hours, I mean, they should be back in session at, 10 o'clock this morning?
Right.
Yeah, so at 10 o'clock, will they have the information that they need financially to be able to move forward? This is a new body, and there's a lot of people that are a little bit timid, I think.
And I think, and again, to me, it's always been one of my pet peeves is that my friends from the insurance companies have managed to give basically, in my opinion, garbage data to Gov Guam. I mean, we get these things and we look at it, and in the real world, Ray, where you and I come from, if you go and you say, hey, by the way, how did we do this year with our employees? I mean, give us the true claims picture. You're going to get it in a way that you and I can understand. There's the premiums. Here's the claims. I mean, you can even get really specific. Hey, what kind of claims?
Yeah, and how's this going to affect my premium in 2020?
Exactly. Except that the volumes of data that Gov Guam gets, I mean, you couldn't, you basically need a supercomputer to, but, and then, I mean.
Look, the chief guy in any company anymore is the guy that can analyze the data and make strategic decisions based on it. And there aren't too many of those guys floating around in this town, and too few of them that have got any experience in healthcare. So we'll just leave that table that one there. Let me, because I want to see where you guys think this is going to end up. I mean, between the two of you, what odds are you laying on this passing the legislature?
We still feel confident this thing will pass.
Okay.
Right, I'm sorry, Bill 32.
Well, there's not much to it. Do you suppose that there might be amendments to it based on what they might have heard over at the public hearing, or is it all or nothing?
At 4 o'clock yesterday, there were no amendments to the bill. I mean, we've done. I mean, like anything else, Ray. We've done our lobbying to the greatest extent that we've had, and trying to educate all 15 senators on the merits, and so it's take care.
Right.
So we're all here making the pitch, and then obviously. If we're successful and it does get passed, then we have to do the next step, which of course is go convince Governor Lou and now acting Governor Josh, hey, this is in the best interest of the.
But I am going to make the connection. You helped Lou get elected. Does she owe you and by extension GRMC?
That is that's an unfair statement. Lou
Leon Guerrero
owes me nothing. Okay, let's make that clear. She got elected on her own. Francis Santos was one of her biggest and staunchest supporters. And we'll go back to the day when you and I were on the 8th floor. Oh, I'm sorry, Tony Guerrero was on the 10th floor. And Tony DeFunto Leon Guerrero told me, he said, if my sister runs again, make her win.
Tony's a good guy.
Yeah, Tony's a good guy.
Miss him a lot. I appreciate you dignifying that with a response.
I mean, that's an unfair statement.
Yeah, but I don't think it's unfair. There's a lot of people that are connected one way or the other.
Yes, I am connected.
And people are going to say, well, that was the payback for being a good soldier.
It's not a payback, okay?
I'm not telling you what people are going to say.
Well, say what they want to say, Ray. Francis Santos did what he was asked to do on behalf of the people of Guam.
The campaign.
They made, Lou won. Lou and Josh won. So I'm here today to tell you, I'm going, well, what job are you taking? I said, I took the job that I always wanted, was to go back to GRMC. And then that was made clear. I mean, I'm here to help the administration, and I think this, clearly is something that the people of Guam need.
Well, fair, and like I said, I appreciate you dignifying it with an answer, and there plenty of times where people ask those questions.
Oh, no, I get it all the time.
So I needed to put that on the table. Eric's not from here, so I don't think he's got to worry about that. What does Lou owe you?
She owes me nothing, But Ray, the only thing I can say is, I think what Francis and what the governor, what the legislature, and even what DOA did when they were trying to put this in the RFP is they're trying to protect the people, the government of Guam people. Like we said, we got 1,600 Take Care members who've come to us for care. We saved their lives, their family members' lives, strokes, heart attacks, spine injuries, you name it, a whole host of services that we're the only ones available to do. Now, what are we to do? And we have to bill these folks. They get it at full price. Yeah. What are we to do? Is that not unfair that the health plan has collected the premiums, and when it's time for the catastrophic care, the pills are in the patient's lap? And that's only 16% of the population of Guam right now. Imagine if it's 100%. And also, if it is going to Take Care exclusively, and why wouldn't they win a bid when they're the ones who have an unfair advantage with one, they're the only one with a QC compared to the other plans, so they have a 5% tax advantage over all 3 other plans. They don't pay 5% BPT, GRT, and they don't price for GRMC because they can then let the patients have to pay those bills. Huge advantages.
I thought Staywell was the only one that currently didn't have a...
Staywell and Netcare lost it last year. Calvo Select Care loses it April of this year. So for fiscal year 2020, only Take Care has the waiver.
There is still the embargo. On new
That's
QCs.
right.
Correct.
And Lou could lift that at any time.
No, because there's also a statute now in place that any new QCs must come to the legislature for approval.
I see. All right. Well, not like depending on which version of the legislature we're talking about, not likely to happen. I've got to break away, and I appreciate you guys coming in. And for disclosure purposes, Guam Regional Medical City is an advertiser on this radio station, as is Take Care. And just to be fair, if Joe or Greg or anybody over at Take Care wanted to come in, I would give them the identical hour to be able to share their thoughts with us.
Tell them to call in right now while we're right here. We can talk with them live on the air.
That would be fun, wouldn't it?
That would be fun.
Don't see the phone ringing right now.
That's good.
I don't think they will.
It's 9:30 in the morning, guys. Thanks very much for coming in. And I don't know whether to wish you good luck or what on the measure moving forward at the legislature. My question is not so much best for GRMC, best for Take Care, as much as what's going to be best for the taxpayers here. And what we've disclosed, one of the things that we disclose is it's 79% of the freight that the taxpayers are holding for government of Guam employees and retirees. So let's find a way to either bring that number down or make sure that there's not an appreciable expanded increase on that burden on the taxpayers.
Yeah.
Ray,
a last thought for the public is if you're out of network, you're going to have on average a $34,000 inpatient bill at GRMC, but if you're in network, the most you'll pay, assuming you covered your deductible, is $1,500. So that's a huge difference for people to know that out of network versus in.
What's it going to take me to pay out to get to the end of my deductible?
$1,500
in other costs and other charges.
That's it.
So
the most is $3,000 on a $1,500 plan.
That's not bad.
Or change your plan.
Or change. 931-888-8255. Appreciate you guys coming in.
Thanks,
I got to get a selfie with you guys. Let me take it.
Oh, yeah.
It's 9:31. I may or may not post it, but.